welcome to Self-Made. I'm your host Andres.
I'm Nash.
Takman Hakim.
Today's topic today's topic will be um do you need to go to school to be successful? Um well, I was in school for a bit, and it's difficult, yes, but at the same time, like, I'd rather just work. That's just my point of view, because I feel like you get more out of working than going to school. But the one that's been consistent with school, is like between the three of us here, is Akeem. So Akeem, um, how would you describe you like staying into school, like staying in school like consistently? How has that been working for you?
Well, first of all, to answer the question that you mentioned, we have to be we have to go to school to be successful. Well, no, I don't believe that. The only reason I'm in school is because that's the route I could see me being successful. Going to
Okay,
school, I can see an end game where I could say, okay, I can do this. I could go to school, and
like you have multiple opportunities.
no, just like if I continue to go through this process, I can see that I can have an end goal. I will get my degree or whatever and get a job. I could make money. But when some other people could see different route, like like a lot of people, successful people, you'll see, and they said that they, they didn't go to school. They were drop out because they drop out. But it's because they see an end goal and they had something in mind, but that is not for everybody. You can think that school is not for everybody, but you have to just think what is best for you. Because all of those people that you see say that school is not successful, and they are successful because they didn't go to school. It's because they had a plan and they see the end goal and they work towards that plan. They become successful because they were interested in doing that instead of going to school. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, it's more easier for them to just like kind of focus on what they want to do, like say like their own career that they want to pursue, rather than pursuing a career that they don't think that they would do well in, is what you're saying in that sense.
Yeah, but
I'm not too sure.
I'm not saying everybody should go to school. Everybody should. I mean, I think everybody should do what they think is right for them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Andres, any words?
I think it's more about like the title itself, right? Like obviously you can't give yourself a title. Like I think like we get to that point that most importantly companies would just care to, yeah, they obviously care to know what school you came from, but they care more about the title itself. And I think I like to answer your question, I don't think you need to go to school to be successful. I do think that it helps, but it doesn't necessarily it doesn't make the way for you to be successful in any way. Like I feel like it's what Akeem's saying. Everybody is different. If you feel like you want to go to school or you feel like going to school makes you feel successful, then that's fine. At the end of the day, you're gonna take the path that you need to take. I personally don't think. I think it helps. I think in the sense of like it makes you believe that in a way that okay, if I do this, it's what I'm supposed to do. This steps that I'm supposed to follow. So by doing this, I'll be more successful. Which again, is all in your head, anyways, right? At the end of the day, you cannot go to school and you can learn the same amount of knowledge, but you won't be getting like a grade for it or a title out of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I think.
Okay, but what happens when like it's your parent, like like how our parents, how they raised us? They're like, if you don't go to school, then you won't be like quote unquote like successful, because you don't have like a skill or anything to like show for what you have. but you could just go to like say like a company, like say like for instance like Walmart or like Rona or some store that has like any company in that sort of sense where you can like go up in the ranks of management and then have a life through there. Do you think that's bad?
Like in what sense? Sorry, like do you think it's about what
Like
the
like you decided to like, so they're the ones that are like pushing you to go to school, but you don't feel the need that you should have to go to school just to like gain a career based on what they have to say. Like you want
oh
to go to school just for you going to school.
well like in like okay, so I'll talk about it like in my case. So in my case a little different. Like I have both sides. So like I have my mom, for example, she'll say that obviously the people that do go to school are more successful. That's what she thinks. That's what she says. But then I have my dad on the other side that he says the school is important, but not because of the grades, not because of the title. He says just because of the knowledge. He said you can go like us that we've been in college or uni that you can go to a lecture and just sit down and listen to it, but you don't have to get a grade. Like he said that grades are not what makes you be successful. It's the actual knowledge that you take from it. So it's a little bit different in that sense. Like I hear what you're saying. Also in terms of like companies choosing like who goes up the rank and whatnot, that's a little bit different though because I feel like nowadays you can go like say you're going for like a manager position, but you're going against somebody who on
It's
their
favorite.
resume, yeah,
Yeah.
on their resume shows that hey they went to this school regardless of the school they went to compared to you not having like gone to any.
Mm-hmm.
Then at that point, what I've seen recently, and I guess all the time that we've been going, well, not us because we haven't been going to school consistently, but what
Yeah.
I've seen is that they'll choose that person just because, like I said before, because of the title that they may have gotten from the school. So it doesn't matter that you both have the same exact like I guess skills and whatnot. They'll look at it like, oh, well, this guy spent 3 years in this college doing this degree when this guy spent 3 years maybe working somewhere else, right? Like some companies value title over experience, and then some value experience over titles. Like from at least in my end, it's more about the experience than the title itself. That's
Mm-hmm.
what my company values the most, which is in a way I guess I'm lucky because if it was the title, I would not be there.
Yeah.
So
Yes, Kim?
so look, most of the people who said that they don't go to school and they're successful, what is their title? What is usually their title?
What is their title?
Usually, yeah.
Um, they could either be like influencers or like investors or like businessmen, contractors. Um, you could even be like a handyman of sorts. I don't know. It all varies.
You're right. You're right. You're right. And those people are normally entrepreneurs. They create a business and they create it from the ground up and they became successful and then they will come out and say you don't have to go to school to be successful. But
Hmm.
then you're telling people who want to go to school
That
that
they don't need school.
so then they end up not going to school and then that route wasn't the best route for them. you know
Yeah.
Same time, everyone has to think for themselves and not what other people say.
Because everyone learns differently, and like everyone does things differently. Like if you are supposed to go to school and like you're more like hands on with like your readings, your books, and like the more knowledge component based on like the actual like application of it, then like yeah, school is for you. Like for me, I'm I can do like the book knowledge and stuff like that, but I'm more so on the application. I learn better with the application, which is like applying it into like work where I can see it and I remember it rather than learning it off of like a piece of paper and like looking in front of a board, you know?
The one thing that I do I guess you can say respect. Well, a lot of things I respect from school itself, but one thing that I do like is like for people that have a tough time with time management and organizing your schedule to have a routine.
Hmm.
School creates a routine for you because it forces
Yeah,
you to follow a specific schedule,
schedule.
right?
Hmm.
That's one thing. Because like I guess like for me, I'm okay with time management. Like I know how to do it properly. But obviously sometimes if you don't have a deadline, then you have no reason to do things by a certain day. But if you're in school, they give you a deadline, and if you don't meet that deadline, then at that point your mark goes down, right? That's one thing that I do see that it distinguishes itself from it. I got a question for you guys. Do you guys think it's easier, or I guess it was easier back then to be more successful without having a title than now? For example, like obviously we all know like whether it's as like a influencer or like you have your own company, but everybody who started back then and didn't go to school and now are like super successful, do you guys think it's easier to do that back in the day than it is now?
Well, no, from my standpoint, I would think no, because the same time that you take going to school is the same amount of time that you're taking to like build your craft, like make it your own. So in a sense, like you not going to school is the same thing as you not going to school. So if you're like an influencer, you're gonna have to like figure out how to like make sure that whatever you're doing, it showcases to the audience the way that you want it to be done, and that gets them to be like, hey, like like you're a product, like you're selling yourself. So for people to come and like actually like be able to come and see you and see like what's going on with you, and like you know like not like feed you as a product, but like I don't know the word for it, but it's like they're just coming to you to like say like he's actually doing something and like build you up from there, like from the ground up, which is like the same thing as a business. So you yourself are a business, and then that's what I think. Akeem, I don't know if your answer is different from mine, but that's what I think, at least. Yeah. So I don't know. Andres, what do you think? Because
Well,
you
I
have.
mean, I think that in a sense, like not that it's easier, but I guess like in a sense now, like back then it was like more new than it is now. Like I feel like now, obviously, if those things happen, then you just are repeating history, right? Like I feel like you're just doing whatever they did back then. I feel like back then, like for example, like I take it like all these like YouTubers, for example, like all these YouTubers obviously they didn't go to school, they just popped out like content back and forth, and they just became huge like 10 years after, right? Or less, obviously. And then you have like all these people who are like they have their own company, like huge companies that they didn't go to school either. But I feel like nowadays, like I said, like we mentioned before with the whole companies, when they look at your resume and they're like, well, why am I gonna take you over this person who spent the last 4 to 6 years like in school studying hard and like applying themselves to get the best mark of the class, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I feel like nowadays companies, unless you have your own company and you're like you said, like you're selling. Obviously, we're all always selling each other anyways. But like if you're selling like a product that you believe in and you're working for your own, like you're your own boss, then that's different. But if you're applying to all these different businesses and their main priority is that, oh, like if you didn't go to school, then you have no future here other than the basic entry level, right? But I want to know what Akeem thinks because, like you mentioned before, out of all of us here, he's been the only consistent one, which is obviously like I respect that he's been the only one that has stuck throughout the school for the years, and he's like almost done, right? Like so, it's like Akeem, do you think it's easier to be successful without going to school now than it was back then, or do you think it was easier back then to be successful, like more successful than you are than it is now?
But I feel like it all depends on you. If you have a brilliant idea where you can create something, or you can do something, you can make a business out of it. Then or now, you could be successful. But it all varies for everyone. So I don't know really how to put it because I don't know.
No, I hear what you're saying. Like it's like I think the main point is like the fact that it really depends on you. And number one, what you want like out of your future. Like, do you want to be your own? Like, do you want to have your own business? Do you want to work in like this business? What they're asking for? Like, it really depends on what you want for yourself. Like, everybody's different. Everybody thinks differently as well. So, no, I agree with what you're saying, Akeem.
Because a lot of people, they want to be their own boss, but sometimes they don't know it early enough. They be going to work, miserable as hell. But if they have an idea and they create it and they work for themselves, they'll be the happiest person. They'll be motivated to work on their idea instead of going in and working for somebody else who instruct them to do everything.
Yeah. Well, guys, do you have anything else, like any advice for like people that are struggling with like this question within themselves, like especially like for high schoolers, because like it's their final year, or like people that have just been out of school for like how long? Like, what advice would you give to them?
I would just follow what Akeem said. He said at the very beginning, it really depends on you, how you are, what you feel, how you think. At the end of the day, you won't like you're the only one that thinks like you are the one that knows what's best for you, like what's best for you, anyways. You can't have somebody else tell you what they think. Like you're like you decide for you. So other than that, I don't really have anything else to add.
All right, okay. Well, that wraps up today's episode. Don't forget to follow us on our Instagram and Spotify. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like, comment, and definitely subscribe. It has been a very good episode, and hope to see you guys again soon. It has been your host, Nash.
I'm Andres.
You already know that man Akeem.
And we'll see you in the next episode. Peace.
Later.